SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Hello everybody, welcome back. A bit of a rough night last night, kids kept me up. Freezing as well. Right, so we're talking about Bitcoin, aren't we? Let's just think about Bitcoin, forgetting about the altcoin situation for the moment. Although yesterday we were looking for and hoping for, and sort of, I suppose, to an extent, received a small bounce, which is what I thought we were going to get, which is basically what we got, which was so small it's barely even worth talking about, really. What we see now, if you take it down to the 1 hourly time frames, are tiny little minuscule-sized Bollinger Bands that are pinching so tightly that you could use them to pluck your nose hairs. A 1.2% range from the bottom and the top on this 1 hourly. So we're looking for a move. There is a move pending at this point, basically, when you have Bollinger Bands pinching so tight. And the way I would probably look at this stage now, given the size of this wick, buying back here, would be a move up towards 44,000, 45,000 maybe, which is basically the same targets as yesterday. That's a death cross retest on a 1 hourly. That would be a Bollinger Band center and a 50 exponential on a 4 hourly. And on the daily, we've got Bollinger Band 21 exponential, 10 exponential, which is at 44,000, give or take. So it's all around the 44 to 44,500-ish area. Now, if we look at this daily, because the daily is showing a little bit of something, these last 2 days in a row, we have found support on a 50 simple moving average. Now, this is something that you normally see on traditional markets, markets with large volumes, markets which are slower. They seem to respect simple moving averages, basic moving averages, more than exponentials on the whole. And, I have the 50 simple moving average on my charts all the time. Well, I never really paid too much attention to it because it basically just blends into the background of this very skinny purple line, really. And it is there, but we don't really see it. It's probably the least used outside of the 7 simple, really. But there is some use taking place at the moment. So this dip, 50 exponential. This dip wicked below anywhere of, this was overkill. And we've closed both the 50 and the 50 3 days now. So, to be honest, I would be looking for this to bounce and make its way up to around $45,000 at the best. And we'll see where things go from there. Also, what I should say is, when it comes to the Bitcoin dominance chart, I know that there's a lot of talk and a lot of chatter about, the Bitcoin dominance either breaking down or bouncing around these areas. I'm undecided about the future, the short-term future of altcoins, just as I am kind of with Bitcoin. And my overall opinion is to pretty much just let the market tell me exactly what it wants to do. Because right now I can't be sure. With the whole ETF thing, I've seen a few posts on Twitter saying that the ETF, obviously, they went out, they sold, and now they're buying back. So there's potential for all of this to start moving again towards the upside on Monday, really, or at least next week. We've got stocks still hovering around all-time highs. We've got Dixie still quivering. And shivering around these levels, potentially looking to make another attempt to make a double bottom or at least another low, basically. Even if it was just a higher low, it'd still have to get down there to start with. It is a descending trend here, so I'm not massively bullish on the dollar, absolutely not. Not yet, anyway. And if anything, what we'd be looking for, if anything, would be a death cross retest. There's your death cross on exponentials. Here's your one on simples, and those targets are above the current price action. But until we see ourselves break above there, we should only expect a move up to get rejected with a lower high. So look, there's a lot of things to think about when it comes into next week. Whether you believe in reading the whales with the ETF, buying it back after selling already, or whether you believe the charts are still relevant. And if they are, then this is a support that might see a bounce up by a few $1,000s. You know, there's different ways you could try and, you know, you could look at this from a few different angles. I think given the fact that the ETF is a new thing, I want to see how we start to respond to all of that. My general vibe is one of weekly time frames, right? I'm a weekly guy, and you know, it doesn't matter which way you cut it. That doesn't look good from a candle perspective. It's called a shooting stars. A major rejection does not look good. However, we haven't closed the week yet, have we? And remember how I was saying, you know, what we want to do, you know, forgetting about wicks, right? Forget the wicks. But what we want to see is candle body closures on a higher high. Well, it's obviously not going to be doing that right now. This would just be a wick high, which you could count. And yeah, we'll just quickly finish off by thinking about what happened over here. Now, this did print divergence. There's your high, candle body high. And there's another high, candle body high. There's your high, and it was a candle body high as well as a giant wick. That's major divergence there, bearish divergence. You've even got a further one over here and here when you're talking about candle body highs, and basically down we go. So again, for me, wicks aren't as important as candle bodies, and what we've got here is lower highs, but no higher highs, so we don't have the divergence. We still might be looking at a pop of some form, but I don't think so. I think there's enough evidence to say that we're going to hang around here. In fact, we might even hang around here for a few months, because I said it, I think, on the Patreon. I think I must have said it on some videos as well. The halving is in April, and that's enough that's enough of a news event, if you want to call it that. We'll just call it an event, a bullish event, to prop the price up above 37,000, really, I would say, and back up to the previous local high, and maybe even a bit higher. Halvings are a bit lame, you know, basically. You know, the reality of it is just like anything that's bullish, right? So over time, absolutely it's bullish. Leading into the actual event, it's sort of bullish. It was last time. I remember it last time. It was okay last time. It wasn't massively special. It didn't particularly rally much. Didn't really dump much either. But it props the price up. I think we were around $8,000 at the time. So I kind of remember it. Because obviously, you know, it's an event. You tune into it, don't you? It's like New Year's Eve. You know, there's the countdown, and then, way, happy halving. But really nothing happened, and then we did consolidate shortly after that. So I'm expecting the same thing. But I think that the event itself is enough to keep us within this portion of the range. And that is absolutely able to retest the 48,000, maybe even a little higher. It's also absolutely capable of testing here, maybe even a little lower. So the main thing for me to try and put across to everybody is there's nothing wrong with a little scalpy bounce when the opportunity presents itself. If you've thought about it and it makes sense, then great. But for me, you know, I still need to see how the land will you know, I just need to get rid of all these ripples in the water, if that makes sense. With the ETF thing and hitting the high that we hit here, the $48,000 high, like I need to. It's like throwing a brick in a still lake, and I can't really. I need it to. I need everything to settle a little bit before I can make any new trade plans outside of the main one which I've got, which is to wait for the consolidation and probably end up picking up Bitcoin and Ethereum and loads and loads of altcoins around here, end of summer, where I think a consolidation should have already happened, and basically we'll be scraping lows at that point, buying dips, like significant dips, basically trying to find bottoms, really. So yeah, like I say, there is a chance that these Bollinger Bands will break one way or another. If we based it on the 1 hourly, we'd be looking for a move up to this level and rejected. The 4 hourly suggests that also, and blah 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 blah. Anyway, there's not much more to say. It is Sunday, and you know, next week will be an interesting one regardless, because it'll be the first full trading week of the ETF, we can start to maybe do some decent analysis on what's actually going on behind that ETF. We should be able to see, not that I've seen it already, but we should be able to see how much Bitcoin is being bought and sold. I mean, Bitcoin, is transparent in that nature, so I would expect to be able to see somebody. Well, it's what's the guy called? Willy Woo, the Glassnode lover. Then we should be able to see all this sort of stuff. I'd be surprised if we... Well, it's impossible not to. This is absolutely what Bitcoin is good for. Transparency. So I want to see what they're doing. Because they do have the power, I suppose, at this stage now to actually really manipulate this market. I know people are celebrating the idea of the ETF as like a big thing. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it, but it is what it is, so it's here now. But to me, it does add a whole other layer of risk onto the market, which I'd rather have not had. Bloody hate risk. Right, but thanks for watching. I'll leave it with you there. It's a bit of a rambling, long, drawn-out video, but hopefully there's some little pieces of wisdom in there. If not, just let me know, and I'll shut my mouth. Right, take it easy.